The merger between Comcast and Time Warner is raising the eyebrows of many independent cable providers and others. Critics of the merger, like our guest today, believe the purchase will create a monopoly that will dominate the marketplace. When Comcast recently purchased NBC Universal, the company pressed hard for federal approval. Other than a former FCC commissioner in their employ, Comcast has close ties to the Obama administration that may help rubber stamp the merger. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts has enjoyed golf outings with President Obama on Martha's Vineyard, while Comcast Executive Vice President David Cohen is a frequent White House guest and major fundraiser for the Democratic Party. This relationship may underscore NBC's ongoing coverage of President Obama, as Comcast owns NBC. It may also explain the recent move by the FCC to install government minders in newsrooms across the country, quizzing reporters and editors on how they select stories, a move that was highly criticized and has since been canceled by the White House. Our guest today to break down the Comcast-Time Warner merger and the FCC's failed newsroom monitoring program is the Director for Media and Democracy, Todd O'Boyle. His organization, Common Cause, at commoncause.org. Welcome back to the show, Todd.
Hi.
Todd, does the Time Warner Comcast merger result in fewer choices for American families?
Absolutely. This is all about competition and consumer choice, and this merger will do nothing to enhance public consumer protection, and it will do nothing to further the public interest. It will, however, raise prices on consumers and increase Comcast's already staggering level of influence in Washington.
So have Roberts and Cohen been developing their relationships with President Obama in order to facilitate this merger?
I wouldn't limit any of this just to the White House. Comcast and Time Warner both have spent heavily in Congress and through campaign contributions and lobbying expenditures, and on the state level, really up and down the ballot to influence policy to make sure that they really get to write their own rules and write competition off the books.
So why should Americans be concerned about this merger?
Well, I'll just reiterate. Already, we've got such a tremendous amount of money distorting our democratic legislative process, and this is going to result in one company that has even more power to distort that process. And I'll also add, this has troubling concerns for what consumers have access to. So we know that when cable firms like Comcast and Time Warner get bigger, they are able to extract greater leverage in their negotiations with programmers and content creators. And that has a negative impact on smaller market and niche programming, independent voices, diverse voices that are outside the mainstream dialogue, or maybe add a little variety to the mainstream dialogue. And we're really worried about the chilling effect this is going to have on the different kinds of information that everyday people are going to be able to get access to and use when they cast their ballots in November.
So you believe that this merger actually will, in essence, stifle some of the independent voices in America?
Without a doubt. We know that particularly on the creative community on the West Coast, when it comes to creators and producers, writers, their ability to create new programming and get it on the cable dial is severely hampered when big companies like Comcast and Time Warner are able to extract really uncompetitive deals that and really leverage that deal-making process, so that the independent voices are often find themselves unable to come to terms with those extortionate tactics.
Let's talk about DC's revolving door for the NBC Universal Comcast merger. Shortly thereafter, like I mentioned, they hired the FCC commissioner. Does the DC revolving door between government and corporations equate to Mussolini's definition of fascism when he said fascism should more properly be called corporatism, since it is the merger of the state and corporate power? I mean, we certainly see the FCC representing the state and the corporations representing Comcast and NBC Universal merging, in essence, through the revolving door. Do you believe that to be true?
Well, I avoid equating people who disagree with me with fascism, but I absolutely agree that the revolving door is a problem in Washington. It's not just a problem at the FCC, and it's not just a problem with Commissioner Atwell Baker. Uh, we know that some of the really disastrous decisions that the FCC made under Chairman Michael Powell in the early 2000s that took us down the road of cable consolidation, that took us away from a world of competition and consumer choice and took us down the road towards these multi-billion-dollar behemoths that are able to write the rules in their favor to harm consumers in the democratic process. Uh, those decisions, friendly decisions that he made, landed him a plum job as director of the cable lobby here in Washington. So this is a troubling trend, and it's unfortunately goes much farther than Commissioner Atwell Baker.
Decades ago when AT&T, Ma Bell was broken up as a monopoly, do you think the same thing should happen here with Comcast and NBC and now the Time Warner merger?
I think them getting any bigger should be absolutely inconceivable. I think them getting as big as they have gotten is inconceivable. And before we go down the road towards further consolidation and further squelching of the democratic discourse in this country, we really need to take a look at putting the brakes on consolidation and even rolling it back. So, absolutely, let's take a look at ways that we can enhance diversity, enhance localism, get more independent voices on the radio and television dial.
Do other national media CEOs enjoy the same access to the White House as Robertson Cohen?
Well, I know that they have a lot. I sure hope that no one else has. Well, anyone having that much access is troubling, and I hope that really. I wish that he didn't, but I hope no one else does.